Today we're going to be talking about the recent pay-per-view WWE did, Stomping Grounds. So we're going to talk about the matches, we're going to review them, and we're going to talk about some behind-the-scenes stuff you might not know about. Let's get into the video. Alright guys, here we are in Australia, or Australia as we call it here, down under. Just going to touch on Stomping Grounds, recent new pay-per-view that WWE just released. I had the pleasure or displeasure of sitting through and watching it all. Off the top, my overall grade for this pay-per-view was probably a C+, pushing towards a B-. The opening match with Lacey Evans and Becky Lynch left a lot to be desired. It could have been so much better. Lacey's still quite green. When I say green, she's fresh. She hasn't got much experience, so her timing's still a bit off. She doesn't feed quite correctly how she should be. I actually noticed a spot in there, I don't know if any of you did, where Becky Lynch was actually calling a back elbow off her Irish whip. You could hear it clear as day through the TV. But somehow Lacey Evans didn't hear that, and it was a total botch up. That part of the match looked quite terrible. It was a bit of a train wreck. They kind of salvaged it and did the best they could. So I kind of feel for Becky there. She's probably been given a bit of a stiff job to do there. Vince is pretty high on Lacey and wants to push her, so that's kind of why she's getting those big title spots at the moment, and really in the spotlight, so to speak. So that match could have been better. What else do we have? We had the New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Pretty solid match. Didn't mind the finish. I love a heel going over. I just feel that they're being misused a little bit. Mainly Kevin Owens. I mean, he doesn't look like much. He looks like an average Joe, but he is quite athletic. So yeah, I like that match. That was pretty solid. The next one we're going to talk about is the Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler match, the steel cage match. Once again, I've vented my frustrations about Dolph Ziggler in the past. Not happy with his character overall and how he comes across and is portrayed. I can't believe it. I can't buy into his character. I love Kofi Kingston. I will say I was a bit disappointed with Kofi Kingston coming out. I mean, he's the WWE champion. Like, he is the man, right? He's at the top at the moment. And I don't mind the New Day. We're happy and we're throwing pancakes and stuff, but don't tuck them between you and the title. It's really cheesy, and I think personally it's a bad look. The title was supposed to be prestigious, something that you look up to and you respect, but having a breakfast in between it is not something that I find flattering for them. I mean, personally, the title belts themselves look rubbish anyways. I mean, you look at the new AEW World Championship, that belt looks like a championship. It looks $1 million. It really does. And they want to build it like $1 million. It is prestigious. So WWE, yeah, I don't know whose call that was, but I wasn't happy with it. The match itself was pretty good. It was okay. The finish, I really liked the finish. I loved Kofi diving over the top to get to the floor. That was something I haven't seen before, especially on televised wrestling shows. So I was quite happy with that. Roman Reigns and versus Drew McIntyre with Shane McMahon. What are they doing? What are they doing with Drew McIntyre? I mean, that guy is a stud, mate. He is a beast. And he is not getting booked like a beast. I really rate him highly. He's a worker. He looks the part. He's got the moveset. He's athletic. He can cut a promo. He's got a great gimmick. I mean, they should be shooting him to the moon. But here he is, jobbing out to Roman Reigns again. Their match was on Stomping Grounds was better than Mania. I will give him that. But once again, same old boring finish. McIntyre doesn't go over. Roman Reigns hits the spear. 1, 2, 3. We've seen it all before, Vince. We've seen it before. You're wasting my time. It's not even 50-50 booking with Roman anymore. Like, you can't even go into a match and think, oh, he might not go over. He's going over. I mean, the exception to that rule was the crown jewel, but guess who beat Roman Reigns? A McMahon. So, yeah, not happy with that booking. What else do we have? We had the final match of the night. Actually, let's talk about the women's match. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. Pretty solid match. Actually enjoyed that match. Pretty hard hitting. Both girls shined in that match. Good to see Alexa back and actually performing well. Hopefully she's not out for a long period of time after this match. Bayley going over with a bit more of aggression behind Bayley tonight. So that was quite exciting to watch. A bit different side of her. Something that she needs to show. Not just she's a little hugger and a fan favourite and all the little girls can look up to, but, you know, just show a little bit of grit, you know, a little bit of toughness. So that was good. And I'm probably missing some things here, guys, but we'll jump to the main event. Now, it was Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship, with Baron Corbin having the luxury of picking a special guest referee. Now, I was thinking, because they seem to just always do it, Mick Foley was going to come out, but I couldn't see how that was going to work, or Kurt Angle. So they did have me guessing in that respect, and I'm actually happy with the way they booked it. It was actually quite smart. So for them to have Lacey Evans come out and be the special guest referee, because obviously Seth Rollins said he was going to hit whoever come out with a chair, or wouldn't hesitate. So to have a girl come out was quite smart. And obviously the connection there, Lacey Evans is feuding with Becky Lynch, and both storyline and real life, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are a couple, so that worked out well. So you could see why Lacey would want to screw over Seth and help Baron. So that was quite smart how they did that. And then obviously it made Becky look like an absolute star, because the crowd was raucous when Lacey was slapping Seth in the face. And that spot was just made for Becky Lynch to come out to a huge ovation and just capitalise on clearing house and being a huge pop babyface. So I thought that was actually a really good idea. Obviously the finish with Seth going over, pretty textbook. I knew he was going to go over. Couldn't see Baron going over, although I do rate Baron as a talent. He is actually, I think, very underrated. He's quite a good worker. He's very athletic, strong. So I can see him being a future player for sure. I did forget a match. I've just remembered it now, guys. It was the SmackDown Tag Team match for the titles. Daniel Bryan, Eric Rowan versus Heavy Machinery. Now, that was tough booking, and I'm not sure why they did it, because, I mean, it was always going to be hard because Daniel Bryan, it was in Washington. He's a Washington boy. They're gonna love him. They're gonna. But he's a heel. He's got to work like a heel. It's not going to work. The crowd loved him too much. You know, they were chanting, we recycle, you should drive a Prius, all that kind of stuff. So they're sticking it to Vince. They're hating the booking. Heavy Machinery did a good job. It was a solid match. There were some great moves. It told a story. So I was pretty happy overall with that match as well. So what I will say is, overall, it was a pretty good pay-per-view. There was a few matches that, were hit and miss. But the match that stole the show for me, this is the show stealer, guys. It was Samoa Joe versus Ricochet for the United States title. How good was it? That match was a rip snorter. That means pretty good. That's what we say down here, rip snorter. Some of the moves in that, it was hard hitting. There was emotion in it. And to see Ricochet go over, a guy from NXT as well, someone else rising their stocks, was good. And you could see they're really pushing him with the interviews, the photo thing in the back. And then straight after the match, all the superstars congratulating him, and then Triple H giving him the nod. So he's getting well looked after there. And rightfully so. He is a talent and does deserve that spot. So that's what I've got to say, guys. If you liked what I said, or you didn't like what I said, or you want to talk about it, or you want to hear more stuff like this from your man, Tommy Venom, just hit us up on the Facebook or hit us up on YouTube. Hit the like and subscribe. Ring the bell, guys. And I'm always watching. Got my finger on the pulse. Catch you later.